feel fairly confident I've told this story before, but I was very lucky in that my very first case, which I ran sole to hearing, was the case that taught me that you should never, ever judge a book by its cover, and that reality is way stranger than fiction. And it's doubly funny because it was an assault, but it took place on a street called Friendship Street, which, I don't know, I find stuff like that pretty funny. The case is as follows. My client was alleged to have assaulted an elderly woman on the basis that was bad blood between them. According to the version given by the victim, my client came and pushed her over and then kind of socked her in the mouth to stop her from talking. Pretty bad assault, really, given my client was about 25 years younger and the woman in question was in her late 50s, early 60s. So I asked her, why would you do this? Like, what was the justification? And she said, because the person who I assaulted is a witch. Now, I'm a evidence-based, science-based guy, so I'm like, oh, she's a witch, is she? She goes, yeah, she's not only a witch, but she has special powers. And I go, okay, tell me more about this. She goes, she can cast curse, and she was going to cast the big curse on me. Now, the big curse is essentially a curse which this community believes has the power to make a person infertile. And so I go, you really want me to run self-defense? She goes, that's the truth. And so I said, okay, all right, write it all down. So we sat with her. I got very detailed instructions outlining exactly what happened, and she signed them. So we're in the hearing, and it's my turn to cross-examine the victim. And I say, one of my questions, and remember, my job is to put forward my client's case, even if it's absurd, is, you're a witch, aren't you? And to the shock of me, the only person who's more shocked than perhaps the magistrate was me, she goes, yes, I am. I go, okay. And you have magical powers, don't you? Yes, I do. And we were also stunned. The other side would have gotten up and objected based on relevance, but we were all just in stunned silence at this absurd turn of events. And then I said, you have the power to cast the big curse which makes women infertile, don't you? Yes, I do. And you hate my client sufficiently that you would cast a spell like that if you were given the opportunity. And you were about to cast that spell. She goes, yes, I hate her. She shouldn't have children. She's a bad person. Well, on the basis of that testimony, not guilty. Because there is a subjective and an objective reason for my client to have acted in self-defense in the way that they did. Now, I tell that story because it was such an absurd situation that if I hadn't lived through it, I wouldn't believe it. And it completely and utterly changed for me the simplicity of my perspective being the right one. So I can understand somebody saying, I don't believe your story, but your job is to tell your client's story and tell their instructions, even if to you they sound ridiculous. Follow me for more legal TikTok.